Hey there, it's Brittany, and I'm back with a tutorial. This is probably going to be a pretty quick and easy just design with me video. It's from the July Bargain Bead Box. I've had this stuff sitting on my desk for over a month now, and I finally just got some inspiration. So I'm going to make a necklace using this starfish, which is super cute, and I got another one in case I mess this one up during our video today. And these beads. I also have these two out. I'm not sure if I'm going to use those. And I brought out some copper seed beads. I'm also going to be trying some patina in white over my starfish, but I'm going to mix it with gloss glaze so it thins it out a little bit. From Vintage. So it's a metal sealer and patina extender. I want to make sure we mix those up really well. I'm going to protect my work surface. I'm going to put this is what I'm going to put my paint in. It's just some packaging. I always try and recycle this stuff. And I just have a paintbrush. I'm going to dump out some gloss glaze. You can find this on Amazon. I think I'll put a link to my Amazon store or my curated lists on Amazon, and this one's called Marble. Yes, Vintage patina paints are discontinued. You can still find them, but it's getting harder and harder. So I will be holding on to these products with my dear life. So I am probably going to put a little bit more white in there. It's got a little thin. I do want it to kind of just whitewash it, but I'm really kind of wasting product. I put way too much in there because this would cover like 10 full pieces at least. I really only need a little bit, but after I just said I will be hoarding my product. So I'm just going to mix that, and I'm going to apply it to my starfish and see if it gets the consistency that I'm looking for. So I wanted some of that silver to come through, so it's a little more opaque than I was looking for, but I don't hate it. I'm just covering the whole thing. And if you want, you can get a toothpick so you can hold down the parts that you've already painted. He's got some bubbles. All right. I'm going to wash my paintbrush. Like I said, it's got a little bit more white in it than I was expecting. Kind of diluted it a little bit with some more gloss glaze. I know it's probably hard to see because I'm doing this on a white paper towel. I didn't really think about that. I'm going to go get a candle lighter and see if I can burst some of these bubbles. Okay, so I got out my heat gun to help along my dry time, and I messed up my pendant. So thankfully I had a second one. This one actually ended up getting a little bit more paint or patina white on it than I had anticipated, but that's okay. We might change it up a little bit. We'll see. We'll see. So I've been trying to decide how I'm going to attach this to my necklace because the hole is such a weird place. And if you remember back to the turtle video where I patinaed the turtle, I used, I think, wax linen, but I didn't really want that look on this project, and I thought about doing like a leather wrap, but it just didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. So I think I'm going to use this 20 gauge vintage parawire, and I'm going to need quite a long piece for this. So I'm going to pull off a piece off of my spool. Can't add length, but I can always take it off. I think I did cut a little bit more, but I practiced on the other pendant, so I knew I didn't have enough wire before. Wow, I got way too much wire this time, but that's okay. So I'm just going to slide this on my wire, and this will take a little bit of, it's probably not going to be very beginner friendly, although it's not too difficult. It's not advanced, but if this is your first wire wrap, it's going to be a little bit difficult. So I'm going to move this to about the middle of the wire and try and get that top wire in that groove as much as possible. It doesn't need to be in it, but it's going to help me as we go. So I'm going to wrap one around the other. So I'm just taking the one in the front and wrapping it around the one in the back. And I want to keep repositioning this because with this star, this wire has the tendency to go to the side. Just the nature of how where the hole is and the shape of the pendant. So what I want to do throughout this entire thing is continuously move that wire wrap back to the top, and I'm just going to wrap around a couple times. Okay, and don't worry, I know my wire's getting bent. It's okay. I'm going to wrap 3 times. Doesn't matter how many times you do as long as it's secure. And again, this is still moving. We just want to make sure that I'm able to get it back in place. And you're gonna have to move it. Like, you can't, if you need to, you just got to be a little bit strong. It's wire and it's metal. It's going to be okay. So that kind of elongated it a little bit. It's okay that it's up a little bit farther than the actual top of the pendant. It's going to get covered up. So I'm going to take my nylon jaw pliers and I'm going to run that across both wires just to get it a little bit straighter. Okay, this is very long. I think I got way too much, but that's okay. And then here I have a Beetle bail making pliers. These are just larger mandrels than my regular pliers have. And again, like I said, it's going to be moving back and forward. You're just going to hold this with your fingers. And I want to use this smaller mandrel to make my bail. So I'm just going to put it right about there and pull this forward. Okay. And I'm just going to move that around to the back. Just be patient. Working with a lot of wire can be a little difficult. And we're going to make a loop. So there's my bail for my necklace. Okay. And I'm going to hold that in place with my thumb. Just keep that there. Keep your pressure. And I'm going to start. It's okay if it goes to the side. I'm going to start it. I'm going to start my wire wrap. And then once I get down to the pendant, I'm going to hold that in place with my thumb. Now, if you want a nice uniform messy wrap, just go slowly. You don't have to do everything too quickly where it truly becomes an out of control mess. We want controlled mess. I hope that makes sense. All right, so I'm getting to the point where it's going to start connecting to my starfish. So I just want to be very careful that once it gets to the starfish, that the bail is in the place that I want it to be. Okay, so I think at this point I can hold my thumb there, move that, and start manipulating my wire around my starfish. We might need to hold it like this for just one more time. Okay. If I had a third hand, that would be really wonderful at this point. But we're just going to move this around, and then we're starting to come down on that starfish, just making sure that the bail is in place. I can twist this later. That's not the direction I want that to go, but I'm not worried about it right at this moment. So now the starfish is holding the wire in place because we've come around the starfish. So I'm just going to wrap down, keep going. And it looks like a messy wrap, but like I said, it's controlled mess. And I'm starting to see that these are twisting, and I don't want that look on this piece. So I'm just going to untwist them and move them back around. And we're going to keep going. Okay, and then I could stop here. Let me see. It's just really up to you. If you want to go back up your piece, that's totally fine. And the other thing is you can go back up the piece, and if you don't like it, you could just undo it. So I'm going to take my fingers and turn my bail. Actually, I'm going to take my fingers and turn them the other way. There we go. Look how wonderful that looks. Looks so great. So I'm going to try going back up a little bit, getting more, just building up that messy wrap. If I don't like it, like I said, I can take it off because we've already built that foundation. Our messy wrap secure, is just ornamental. Yes, I love it. It's quite a bit of wire, but wire's not too expensive right now, so. All right, so we've got a beautiful bail, a beautiful connection point to our starfish. And while I was doing this, some of the vintage kind of came off of my starfish, and that's okay because I don't mind how that looks. I wanted some of the silver coming through, and I was a little bummed that I put this on so thick. So because the thin areas were very thin, and I was pushing very, very hard on this star, some of that came off. Normally, once you patina your pieces with vintage patina, that's not coming off because it's permanent. But it was almost like the effect of me taking a sanding block or a relieving block and scrubbing it. I'm not worried about it. If I was, I could just put more patina on top. So I'm going to take my nippers and I am going to cut my wire in the back. Okay, and then I am actually going to be using a little bit smaller beads for spacers than I thought. I was gonna use these 8-0s, but I really like how the 11-0s look. And as you can tell, they're different colors. So I'm gonna hit my wire with a sanding block and relief some of that antique copper look and bring out the regular copper. So I'm just gonna keep going until it looks how I want it to look. I don't want it to be completely bare, but I like how it brightened it up. So I'm just going to keep going in the crevices. See, you can see the difference. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but it just looks a little bit brighter on the front than it does on the back. Then I'll just get some packing tape and clean up what's on my mat. So doesn't that look super duper antique beachy look? Now I do have, and I might have had it on my fingers, so I'll show you what I ended up doing with the other pendant to test it out. I used some wax paint in Copper Kettle to hit the highlights on my other pendant where we're seeing some silver come through, and it just was too much copper. And this is where I messed up on the other one. As you can see, my heat tool caused some bubbles and some mess, but I think it was just a little bit, it was much more heavy than this. And then I rubbed off with a paper towel a lot of the copper. I love how this looks. Unfortunately, I don't like how that little bubble looks, but I think I'm going to keep this one just white and silver. Now, because I had some paint left over on my fingertips, there is a little bit of a hint of that copper along the edges, and I'm okay with that. I really like how this looks right now, and I'm gonna go from here to finish my necklace. Okay, before I decide on which star I want to use, I think I'm gonna change this one up. I really like this one. I really like this one, but I think I'm going to patina this one. I don't know, there's nothing to lose. It's already kind of messed up. So I got out some patina paints. I want to hit it. I have Verdigris, which is my favorite one. I got out some antique copper, some jade, marine, and some ochre. So just make sure those are all mixed up. You want to shake them so the balls start rolling on the inside. I'm going to dump out the darkest color, or pour out some of the darkest color. Just I don't need much, because I'm not going with the gloss this time. This is just regular patina. Right, I don't really know where I'm going with this. Just stay with me. Been trying all sorts of new different patina techniques. Bought some new paints that I'm really excited about. I haven't figured out a way to get them to work with beads, but I am doing some trial and error. Okay, so I'm going to wait till that kind of dries a little bit, and then I'm going to do some green. Oh, I need to clear that out. Always get a piece of wire or a head pin if you can't get your little bottle unclogged. This happens quite a bit with the vintage patinas. There we go. Remember, like in the 90s, sponge painting was a thing. My mom sponge painted everything. I was a little kid, but she sponge painted everything. And I thought that was so cool. The walls, her furniture, whatever she could get her hands on. She still paints everything she can get her hand on, but not sponge painting. Good thing with patina paints is you can layer them, and if you take off too much of the turquoise, you can put it back over the top. Turquoise is dry for the most part. You can also do this with a sponge or paper towel. You don't have to use a paintbrush. You can use your fingers, but it gets pretty messy. That's too much yellow. I will tone that down in a moment. I think that's the first time I've used this yellow. It's very interesting looking for sure. Oh, I've got nothing going on that side. Okay. I'm gonna wash the yellow out of my brush. Okay, so it's very beachy looking, very different from what I had in mind. That's why I'm liking the first one. I'm going to keep that one. This one I'll probably just use with a brighter color palette. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I have some beads that match this actually pretty perfectly. They just have some pink in them. And I originally got out some pink, but then put it back for the copper. So I'm going to put this aside. I really love how it looks, but I'm thinking of these beads and I got to find them because I think they're buried in my turquoise drawer. They have like little pops of yellow and pink in them. So we'll come back to that guy. I'll do something else with it, but I just wanted to play around with it, see where we could go. Totally different from this guy, but I love both of them. I think I'm going to use this Soft Flex copper. I got this a long time ago to string. I do want to use some of these, but I don't know if they're going to go with this color palette. Oh, hold on a second. No, well, I just bought these from Michael's. I didn't even do a haul because it was just like a few strands of beads. But these have the same beads but in turquoise. And then they had some pink starfish and some cream starfish. The starfish don't match, but I feel like these would look good unless I wanted something that's just completely contrasting. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to get my Soft Flex out. I'm gonna move out a little bit because I just feel like it's so close. There we go. And so I'm just gonna put, instead of having this bail rest on a bunch of seed beads, I'm just gonna put it between two of my crystals. At least I want to see what that looks like. Yeah, I don't really love it because, as you see, the necklace you can see the wire. While the wire is pretty because it's Soft Flex, it's not really what I'm going for. So I am going to be using the 11Os in the design, but I have some 8Os that it can rest on. And I'll just put 3 or 4 of those on. Here we go. Yeah, that'll be nice. 3 is perfect to rest on, move back and forth on. Gosh, I would love to get some more of this white into the necklace. I do have some of the mother of pearl that came with the, yeah, that's cute. We also have these cubes, which I kind of like a little bit. I don't know, I kind of like the cubes better. Okay, so I like it, but now I think once I put in that one white bead. It's just too much blue. So, or green, whatever, turquoise. I tried putting some of these in the as the spacer, and I really didn't like it, even though it looks really good with the pendant. I just didn't like how it looked. So I'm trying to think how I can lighten this up a little bit. I like this, but I want it to be more white. I want the shell to be white, and I don't have it. It's not white. All right, could take some white paint. Let's see. Like I always say, if you don't like your beads, change them. All right, so I put a little bit of white on there. Not very much. And there it is. I like it. Just a tiny touch of white toned that pink down, and it allowed me to get the pink that I wanted into this necklace with some more white. I love it. Now I do want to save some of these shells because I want a bracelet, but oh, I wanted this to be three blue beads, not 2. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell, but it is slightly toned down, and I might even hit it with a little bit more white, but you can tell this one's just a little brighter. So I might hit this with a little more white once I decide, but the good thing is I can paint it while it's on the necklace. I really like how that looks. I don't know that I'm going to include another one up there. I think I just wanted to get a little bit more white towards the front of the necklace, and then I'm just going to try and see how I feel about it as I add on the turquoise beads. All right, I wasn't sure if I liked the seashells, but I actually ended up putting a little bit more white on them and added 2 more to this side, and I really love how it looks. I'm not going for a super long necklace on this one. Sometimes I like really, really long necklaces, but probably like 26, 27 inches on this necklace. My longer necklaces can be like 36 or 40 inches. So this one will hang probably mid-chest to me. I'm just going to keep going. I don't know what I'm going to do after this because I don't want to use up all my beads. I did grab some antique copper chain. This is also from Bargain Bead Box from what I can remember. And not this box, obviously. So I might make this be the back so I'm not wasting beads. I'm just going to bead up the other side and I'll be back. I really love this. That hint of white on these beads really made them, give them that like old sea washed feel to me that the pendant has. So I'm super happy with it. I am going to finish it off with chain just because I think that's enough beads, and I'll have enough beads to make a matching bracelet, which, oh, look, we had 2 beads here, which I don't think I'm going to make in this video. I think I'm going to just do a separate video for the matching bracelet. I've measured how much chain I need. And I can can just cut this in half because I do want to put a clasp on it. That way I can make it a little bit longer by including a an extender if I want. I'm going to use just a lobster clasp on this. Okay, and I have 2 Beetle on crimp beads in copper. I was very lucky to find those in my stash actually. So I'm going to put one on my wire, take my chain, loop that on, and then come back through my crimp bead. All right, and then I'll just take my pliers and squish, and then turn 90 degrees and squish again. There we go. So we have a cute little bead. And then I am actually going to trim this wire right here because if you'll see these tiny 11/0 seed beads, there's no way I'm going to get the wire to go back through there. So I'll just get that as close to my crimp bead as I can without cutting my crimp bead or my original wire. Move it down, and I'll do the exact same thing on the other side. All right, to wrap up this necklace, I am just going to put on a jump ring and a clasp. It's a thicker jump ring for the closure part. Smaller jump ring to attach the clasp. And there we go. This necklace is so much fun, so beachy. Can't wait to wear it. And stay tuned for the matching bracelet and the necklace that I'll end up making with this guy. Can't wait to see what that one will turn out like. So I hope you enjoyed it. Gave you a few ideas for things that you can do with that pendant. If you want to keep it silver, just wire wrap it with silver. You can change your beads. If you don't like the pink, paint them purple, whatever you want. And you don't always have to use beads when you're stringing. You can finish your necklace off with chain to save yourself some beads for some other projects. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. And there's a coupon code for the Bargain Bead Box in my description below. You can save $2 off your first box with coupon code Turquoise. Stay tuned for Goldie. She's super cute. Bye-bye. Hi. Hi, cutie. What you doing? Hi. You wagging that tail? Hi. Hi, Goldie. It's a cute girl. Yeah, she's a good girl. Say hi, everybody. Oh, Goldie, we love you. Yes, we do.